Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, zombies, robots, and droids of all ages, welcome. My name is Megaman, and today we'll be diving right into the driver cannon here on BrickEmUp. Now, the driver cannon is one of the robots set out to defeat Megaman and keep him from stopping Dr. Wily. This bolted master of firing both horizontally and vertically utilizes a particularly simple method that I just sneakishly described. Yeah, how's that? But either way, yes, it does tend to fire either to its left or to its right, and it fires off in a V shape as well. And this little guy, you can mount him a bunch of different places, which makes him kind of an interesting bad guy, because while he's not able to move around, he tends to be an obstacle that's designed to slow down and stop Megaman from moving around, and for his defenses to open up before he can be lemoned to death. Death by lemon. Now that's a way to go. But anyway. Now this guy is made with a grand total of 37 bricks, and you might say, well, that's actually quite a small number of bricks, and I actually agree with you. One of the things that came with this particular model was he is made with a very small number of bricks compared to my other stuff. Now, this doesn't mean that making things with a small number of bricks is actually bad. In fact, it can actually be really, really good. Because if you can get a lot of detail and get a lot of stability, that's fantastic. That's really good. What I'm going to say here, though, is it was a really fun build. This is right here, this part. This part right here that I'm highlighting, or trying to highlight now, if my mouse doesn't decide it wants to jump off the Grand Canyon, is the eye. Now, I've looked around in several pictures of this character, and usually it's very, very simplistic, but I did find in some images it has a bunch of little electronics hiding in this area. So what I did was I tried a few techniques, and I ended up adding this little component on the inside to make it look like it's got an eye. So that was pretty fun. Now, the more keen of you might say, hey, why are there 4 little tiny pieces next? Are those, is that like some sort of thing that it fires out? And the answer is no. Actually, those are the connectors that go on the inside of this cylinder. And the reason for that is because, for whatever reason, LDD decides when it boots up that it's going to start randomly deleting either the gray piece or this little piece here. Now, while they're red, they do come in multiple colors. They come in gray, blue, and white, usually. Now, you can, of course, find them just in those 3 colors, but they're usually pretty easy to get a hold of. You tend to just be able to go and find them in a lot of different Technic kits. So it's a pretty simple part. One of the other cool things that I've added to this is the fact that you can also add a small rod inside, usually the little lightsaber rods, which actually add a really cool effect. And you can also add what I like to call the T-beam, which is another Technic part. It's a long black cross beam piece that goes on the inside. Usually I call it a T-beam or I call it a cross beam. But it's really cool. Now, this model is built with a little bit of modability in mind, with a little bit of reinforceability as well. So if you do find that when you do make one of these, if you decide to make one of these, that yeah, it's not sticking together the way that you want it to, or it's in a scene where it's really easy, or in a place where it's really easy to break apart, you can't add those reinforcement options. They're not necessary. I built it so it's not necessary, but it's there as an option. Anyway, if you like what I do here, please feel free to like and subscribe and ring the notification bell if you're on YouTube. And if you have a particular model you want me to make, a particular character you want me to build, be sure to go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. Whether it's the YouTube chat, wherever else I'm posting this, or straight in Discord, because I know a lot of you guys do enjoy utilizing Discord, let me know. Now, starting in my last video, I wanted to start a tradition where, depending on the number of views and the number of likes that I get, if I get a certain amount, I'll release the LDD file for free. Now, originally I was just going to release this for 20 views and 20 likes, but But I said, you know what? People are helping me out. People are giving me really cool tips, helping me make better content. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to release this guy just for 10 views. No likes, 10 views. That's it. But anyway, with that said, let's continue and find out exactly where this guy is found. Now, this guy likes to hang out in both Friesman's stage and in the second part of Dr. Wily's castle. Not really exactly sure why he hangs out in Friesman's stage, but maybe it has more or less to do with the color, and maybe just because nothing is more fun than sliding into a rotating turret, I guess. Flashbacks. All the flashbacks. Anyway, I'm gonna have to admit, let's talk about likes really quick. I have to admit, I really do like the top part of this guy. I really like how detailed it came out, how nice it came out, how decent it came out. This is cool. I really like it. But anyway. But I also like how the bottom came out as well. The bottom came out pretty decently for what I was trying to do, because I was trying to make it smaller, I was trying to make it bigger, and I couldn't get the detail that I wanted. I really wanted to grab a hold of some really juicy detail, and oh, was that hard. The small one, I couldn't get anything that looked right. I couldn't get things to attach well and give, the detail to the little turret pieces. I couldn't get the base detail the way I wanted to. It was very odd. And when I was trying to make it really big, the base looked good, but I couldn't add things like the little yellow bits. There's supposed to be little red bits here too, but you just couldn't add them because there was literally no stud pieces. There was no connection pieces that I could come up with, and no method. There was no connection pieces. There was no method that I could come up with that would just fit there. And I was so frustrated. Like, for something that's only 37 bricks and is a minor Megaman enemy, it's such a weird build when you're trying to build it. Especially in just the bricks that LDD gives you. But it was still a pretty fun challenge. It was still a really interesting challenge. But anyway, one of the things I find interesting about this character is supposedly it's related to the screwdriver bot. And I can see some minor similarities, but there's a fine difference between something that's mounted on the wall and something that's bouncing around the stage thinking it's some sort of crazed rabbit. Oh great, it watched a little too much Monty Python. That's just exactly what we need in a Mega Man enemy. Wonderful. Anyway, let's talk about what I dislike. I'm going to be honest. Not a big fan still of that base. I know that sounds a bit weird because I was just like, oh, it's so much better than all the other bases. But I don't like that I couldn't add the little red bits. I don't like that I couldn't get those yellow pieces centered. It's still okay if you look at it because it still looks-ish like everything is where it kind of should be. But the mounting bolts just bother me. The mounting bolts will bother me. But yeah. The other thing I really didn't like was the sizing. There was just too much that I couldn't add without compromising either the stability of the model, in my opinion, to make it stable enough where I wanted to add the features that I wanted to add, or it was too big, too bland, too boring, and that just bothered me. This was kind of a very nice middle ground to that, and I said, okay, we'll do it at this size. It's kind of ish close to the size that I want and to the size of the other characters that I'm working on and have been doing, so okay, fine. Anyway, if you like, again, what I do here and you want to see more, go ahead and like and subscribe. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And if you're on YouTube or any other system that utilizes any crazy system like the notification bell or a giant sign that says, hey, I like this stuff. Please put it in my feed, please. Thank you. Go ahead and do that. I greatly appreciate it. Every view helps me out. Every like helps me out. Every interaction lets me know what you like, what you dislike, and what you want to see more of. And that's always awesome. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope to see your smiling faces next time. Bye-bye!